Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Nashrunvannotibhis Dasadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dear friends, we are reading the first mantra of the last valli of Kathopanishad. The first mantra we read in the last class, and we also started the Bhashyam. The mantra is Urdhvamulo avakshakha yeshoshvathas sanatanaha tadeva shukram tad brahma tadeva amrutamashnute tasmin lokashritas sarve tadunatyeti kaschana etad vaitat. So that is the shloka, that is the mantra, and we were reading the Bhashyam. So in this mantra, as we were discussing, the Shruti means the Upanishad. The Upanishad is telling us the samsara. What is this samsara and what is the moolam of that samsara? These two things are told in this mantra. The first line of this mantra, what is that? Urdhva mulo vakshakha yeshoshvathas sanatanaha. So that tells about the samsara, that describes the samsara. Tadeva shukram tad brahma tadeva amrutamashnute. Tat is referring to that moolam, the root, the karanam, the cause for that samsara is that say supreme Brahman. And these two things are told. Samsara is told in the first line, and the second line it is telling about the moolam, that is that Brahma which is the moolam for this samsara. And while describing samsara, Shankaracharya has in fact he has let loose his fancy, not exactly let loose his fancy, let loose his imagination. And then while describing samsara, you have to describe all the things which happen in the human mind, isn't it? What is this samsara after all? Samsara is something which you carry in your own mind. Samsara in this mantra, in the last class also I said, this first line, it is not as though it is describing the outside world. It is describing the inside world. It is describing our own feelings, our own emotions, our own raga dvesha, our own bondages, and all our own misconceptions about various other things. So all these things have to be described. So Shankaracharya, it is one of the rare passages in Shankara Bhashyam where he goes almost poetic. He becomes almost a poet and then describes this world in such not exactly glorifying terms, in such great terms, let us say. There is a lot of verbosity in this, and that verbosity he deliberately does it in order to show its hollowness. Basically, he has to show the emptiness of this world. He has to show the hollowness of this world. In order to show the hollowness and emptiness, he uses high words. So that is that he deliberately uses these words, and he deliberately employs lot many metaphors in order to describe what is this samsara. So that is what we see in this mantra, in this Bhashyam. It is one of the rare Bhashyams, as I said. Very rarely do you find Shankaracharya, because Shankaracharya is Bhashyam there is more of argument in that. There is more of argument about what Buddhists say, what Sankhyas say, what some other man says, and then countering those arguments. But very rarely, that is when Shankaracharya has to describe the nature of the world, the ephemeral, the transient nature of this world, then he employs certain phrases like this, basically to show the shallowness, basically to expose the shallowness of this world. World means samsara. World means not the external world. External world has nothing to do with that. External world is totally neutral. Shallowness of this samsara. Samsara means that which you carry in your own mind, not outside. So that is what we have seen. And this metaphor which is given here is that of a vruksha. Vruksha is a tree. And the meaning of vruksha is vrashchanath. That is where we stopped. Vrukshasya vrashchanath. Vrashchana means wrecking. That is, you can break it, you can just just uproot it and remove it, so that vruksha can be uprooted with knowledge. That is what we are going to see. This vriksha will remain, it looks solid, it looks impeccable, and it looks so, say, unassailable that you are overawed by looking at that vriksha. But then, if you think about the reality of it, if you deliberate on the reality of it, then that vriksha disappears. It disappears like Maya. It is something like some magician who is presenting something in front of you. And if you seriously think about it and if you seriously see what it really is, then the Maya disappears. So it is like that. That is what we are going to see in the following lines. So vrikshasya vrashchanat, we stopped there. Janma jara marana shokadyaneka. This line I think we read. We can read it again. Janma jara marana shokadyaneka anarthatmakaha.
Janma jara shokadyaneka
marana shokadi
Marana shoka janeka aneka
anarthatmakaha pratikshanam anyatha svabhavah maya maricyudaka gandharva nagaradivat drushta nashta swarupatvat avasanecha vrukshavad abhavatmakaha. So we'll stop it here. So here one description stops. What is this? This vriksha is something janma, jara, marana, shokadi, aneka, anarthatmakaha. It is having so many unwanted things. Man wants to be happy, man wants to be eternal, man wants to have all pleasures in life, but then this samsara is not allowing. Samsara is making him old. Janma, jara, marana. Jara is old age. Then marana, he also dies, then again takes a birth. So all these things which are unavoidable, unwanted things, ityadi anartha. Anartha is something which is unwanted. Arthyate is arthaha. That which is desired is artha. That which is not desired is anartha. Undesirable things, all these unwanted, undesirable things are there in this samsara. Jara, marana, shoka. Shoka also is there because you desire something and you may not get it, and then that is the cause for worry. Shoka the aneka anarthatmaka. Then pratikshanam anyatha svabhavah. This again keeps changing. Pratikshanam, every minute it keeps on changing. Because this samsara is characterized by the three gunas. Three gunas, this sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. These sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, they are always in a flux. So they keep on changing. So depending on their flux and their change, this samsara keeps on changing. Your attitude, your approach to the world, your reaction to the world, your understanding of the world keeps on changing always, continuously. Pratikshanam anyatha svabhavah. Then maya maricyudaka gandharva nagaradivat drushta nashta swarupatvat. Maya marichi udaka. Maya is something like a magician's magic, something which is done by a magician on the stage, that is maya. Marichi udaka. Marichi means a mirage which you see in a desert. When you walk in a desert or in some very totally dry place, a very open dry place, then you at some distance you will see some sort of mirage which looks like water. So that is marichi udaka. That is the water in a mirage. Marichi udaka means water in the mirage. Marichi udaka. Then gandharva nagara adivat. Gandharva nagara. Suppose you visualize some sky in the air. So in this space, let us say, you visualize some sort of nagara, city in the space, which is really not there. So like that, drushta nashta swarupatvat. So it is just seen and then nashta swarupa. Drushta, but at the same time nashta swarupa. It is seen, but when you seriously deliberate on that, it is gone, it disappears. If you just see it is there, but if you deliberate on that, it is not there. Drushta nashta swarupatvat. Avasanecha vrukshavad abhavatmakaha. Avasanecha. This avasana means at the end. At the end. That is, at the end means by Brahma Jnana only. Because this avasanam for this samsara, when does it come? Avasanam comes only when you deliberate on it, when you think about, when you really question the reality of it and what is the moolam of it. Then when you see the moolam and how this ephemeral this is, and then what is the moolam, and then only it disappears. Till that time it will not disappear. Avasanecha vrukshavad abhavatmakaha. Abhavatmakaha means, abhava means totally non-existent. Abhava is something which is non-existent. Abhava. Vrukshavad abhavatmakaha. Then Kadali Stambhavat Nissaraha.
Kadali Stambhavat Nissaraha.
Kadali Stambhavat Nissaraha. Aneka Shata Pakhanda.
Aneka Shata Pakhanda.
Buddhi Vikalpaspadaha.
Buddhi Vikalpaspadaha.
Tattva Vijignyasubhihi.
Tattva Vijignyasubhihi.
Anirdharitedam Tattvaha.
Anirdharitedam Tattvaha.
Vedanta Nirdharita Parabrahma Moolasaraha.
Vedanta Nirdharita Parabrahma Moolasaraha.
We'll stop here. Okay, because all these descriptions, each is a description. Each expression is giving one particular aspect of this samsara. So, vrukshavad abhavatmaka, if you seriously question it, it is not there. Then, kadali stambhavat nissaraha. It is also, it is so weak, it can be easily cut, it can be easily destroyed. It is not as though it is so strong. It is really nissara. Nissara means it lacks essence, it lacks strength. Nissara, there is no sara. Sara means strength or essence. What is the example given? Kadali stambhavat. Like a banana tree, banana tree, you can just take a say knife or sword and then you can just chop it off and then that will go away. So it is so delicate, it is so weak, so it can be, they say, easily removed. Nissaraha. Then this is also giving scope for various people to discuss. Various people are speculating on this. There are various schools of philosophy. Somebody is questioning whether this world is nitya, whether the world is eternal. Somebody is questioning whether the world has come out of shunya. Somebody has started speculating, somebody is speculating whether there is something called God and then that God suddenly created this earth. Or somebody is speculating whether some atoms are there and then from these atoms, combination of these atoms, etc., all this world has come into existence. So there are so many speculations by so many people. There are so many speculations and all those people, they stick on to their ideas. They are so fixated to their ideas. They just advocate their ideas as the supreme truth. So that is what is called a pakhanda buddhi, to be very dogmatic in nature. So there are so many people who are dogmatic about its nature. So pakhanda buddhi, aneka pakhanda buddhi vikalpaspadaha. That is, pakhanda buddhi is to have a dogma and then to say that, to stick on to that dogma and then not only you believe in that, you also force other fellow to believe in that. So that is a pakhanda buddhi. So if you believe in that, it is okay, it is individual foolishness. But then you also force the other man to believe it, you try to enforce your foolishness on others. So here, aneka shata pakhanda buddhi vikalpaspadaha. That is, so many people, there are so many theories about this world, this visible world. Then there are so many vadas in Vedanta called Arambhavada, Parinamavada, Shunyavada and something like that. Arambhavada is, it starts from say these atoms. All these atoms, they come together and then they form this world, and then from this inanimate matter, this mind comes into existence. The basic question in Vedanta is whether matter is first or mind is first. So the materialists, they say this is all Arambha. Arambha means something which is which has started and then it is coming from these atoms, etc. So like that. Then Arambhavada, Parinamavada, Shunyavada. There are so many arguments by all these people like Tarkikas, so many arguments by Sankhyas. So like that, Aneka Pakhanda Buddhi Vikalpa. Vikalpa means say either this or that, some sort of dilemma. Is it this or that? Aneka Vikalpa, possibility. Vikalpa is a possibility. Aneka Buddhi Vikalpa Aspada. This is Aspada means that which gives scope. That which is giving scope for so many diverse arguments, for so many for multiple arguments. So this is giving scope for so many arguments of so many say dogmatists, let us say. Then tattva vijignasubhihi anirdharita idam tattvaha. Anirdharita idam tattvaha means anirdharita plus idam tattvaha. Idam tattva means, so this is the nature of this. So you have come to a decision, you have come to some sort of finality. Idam tattvaha. Anirdharita idam tattvaha means that thing which is undecided. This idam tattva, the thisness of the thing or the thisness of this world or the reality of this world is something which remains undecided by jignasubhihi. If you are a real seeker, all these seekers, vijignasubhihi anirdharita idam tattvaha. There are so many people who are, say, interested in knowing about the truth, and it is going on. This quest has been going on eternally since the beginning of mankind. It is going on even today. Even today it is going on, and we don't know how long it will go on. we just cannot say, because the scientists today from various branches are almost converging. Various branches, that is in the field of physics, has converged with the biology. The biology has converged with some other field. So all the psychology, all these things, they are converging in order to find out what exactly is the reality. What exactly is matter first or mind first, or if consciousness is the first thing, how this consciousness is appearing as matter. So this is still something which is undecided. But of course now we don't have dogmatists. Scientists, at least, they don't have a dogma. Scientists, they are the people with open minds. So like our ancient, say, Vedic Rishis, I sometimes feel that if the Vedic Rishi were to be present today, he will not be a dogmatist. He will be like a scientist only. Because he has an open mind. He has an open mind, he has no agenda, he has no religion to enforce on others. Basically, they want to find out what exactly is the truth. And these people, by intuition, they made some revelations. By intuition, they said, oh, this is that supreme thing is called Satyam Jnanam Anantam. This supreme thing is of the nature of consciousness. And from that consciousness only all this world is appearing. So this is a sort of, say, by intuition, these people have revealed these things. So, of course, scientists, the present time, scientists cannot accept intuition. Our ancient thinkers, they were people with open mind, plus they also deliberated on this, and then with a lot of intuition. That is what was tapas. So now, of course, that intuition is something which is discounted. Intuition is discounted, and then we are going in a very, but definitely a commendable, open-minded way. So, but here, Vijignyasabhi anirdharita idam tattvaha, this is going on and on. It has been going on, and which may go on for any length of time. Then Vedanta nirdharita parabrahma moolasaraha. But Vedanta says that there is something called parabrahma, which is the moolam, which is the karanam, which is the essence. Parabrahma moolasaraha. Sara is essence. And what is the essence of this whole thing? This whole world. Sara, actually we have to say that is the only thing which is existing. Parabrahma is the only thing which is existing. All this what we see is something which is appearing on that Supreme Brahman. All this thing is something which is, in one earlier class we also talked about what is called adhyasa, a superimposition. Adhyasa, somewhere here earlier in the same Kathopanishad Bhashya, we discussed what is this adhyasa. So all this world is an appearance which is an adhyasa or a superimposition because of our own ignorance. So that is what say the Vedanta says. Vedanta says that there is something called Supreme Brahman. There is something which is an eternal reality, an unchanging reality, which is of the nature of consciousness. This is consciousness plus reality, isn't it? Consciousness is Chit, reality or existence is Sat. So this is a consciousness which is of the nature of say reality and also eternity and infinitude. So this is the thing, this is the, say, revelation of Vedanta. So Vedanta nirdharita parabrahma moolasaraha. This parabrahma is the moola. Parabrahma is the only thing which is existing, that Supreme Brahman. You can call it Parabrahma or Parambrahma, it doesn't matter. Parabrahma, if you say Parabrahma, it is a samasa. Parabrahma. Param Brahma Vyasta pada. Vyasta means two different. Samasa padam, Vyasta padam, you must have come across. Vyasta means two different words. If you say Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, you can also say Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, it doesn't matter. Because Chandas also doesn't matter. Because Parabrahma, the Bra is a Guru, not Bra, Ra becomes a Guru there. Because of the Dvitva word, Dvitva letter which is coming later. So you can either say Parabrahma or Parambrahma, it doesn't matter. So here, idam Vedanta nirdharita Parabrahma moola saraha. So Parabrahma is the moola, the cause. So that is the thing. Then avidya kama karma avyakta bija prabhavaha aparabrahma
Parabrahma
Vijnana Kriya Shakti Dvayatmaka,
Vijnana Kriya Shakti Dvayatmakaha
not Dvayatmaka Hiranyagarbhankuraha.
Hiranyagarbhankuraha.
So it is Aparabrahma Vijnana Kriya Shakti Dvayatmaka Hiranyagarbhankuraha. So from here you are getting certain metaphors. So Parabrahma Moolasaraha, up to that point there is no metaphor. Earlier there are only some Kadali Stambhavat, there are some similes. Like this, when you compare something, it is like this, it is a simile. When you say it is this, it is a metaphor. Suppose you say this boy is as ferocious as a lion, that is as ferocious as a lion, that is a comparison, and then there is what is called an expression of comparison, upama vachakam as you call it, then that is called a simile. When if you say the boy is a lion, that is you are attributing or you are directly saying that he is a lion, that is called a Rupaka Samasa in Sanskrit. In English we call it a metaphor. So from similes we are switching over to some metaphors now. We are getting a series of metaphors now from now on. That is Avidya Kama Karma Avyakta Bija Prabhavaha. Avidya Kama Karma Avyakta Bija Prabhavaha. Avidya. Avidya, we know. What is it? Avidya is Ajnana. Ajnana and Maya and ignorance, these are all synonymous words. Avidya, Maya, Ajnana, all these things are synonymous words. Used by various commentators in various texts. So this Avidya and this Kama is desire, is because of Avidya only. And what is that Avidya? Avidya is Parichinnatva Bhava is Avidya. Parichinnatva Bhava means that is thinking oneself as a delimited entity, identification with the body-mind complex. So that is what is Avidya. After all, Vedanta, what is the basic purport of the whole thing? The basic purport of all things is to tell you that you are not a Parichinna. You are not a delimited entity. And then the basic purpose of all this Vedanta is not to make you a sannyasi. The basic purpose of this Vedanta is not to make everybody a sannyasi. Sannyasa has got a lot of space, place in society. There is no doubt about it. Sannyasa is extolled, it is praised as the highest ashrama. There is no doubt about it. But then the purpose of this Shruti is not to make everybody a sannyasi. In fact, in one of his talks, Swami Akhandananda Saraswati is one of the greatest Swamijis of recent years. So he says, suppose you say that your wife is a mithya and then you don't want to touch your wife, then you are doing the most foolish thing, he says, because you are also a mithya. You are also a mithya, and if you think that your wife only is a mithya and then you are true, you are the real, you are committing a great mistake, because you are also a mithya. Your transaction either with your wife or children, your parents, whatever, all this transaction is at that level only. At that level it is true. At that level, so long as you are in that mithya level, at that level, that is what is called transactional reality. And that transactional, you must have come across, have we discussed these 2-3 words? Paramartha Satya. Of course, we are getting that word later also. There is what is called a Paramartha Satya, that is the absolute level, truth at the absolute level. That is the Supreme Brahman is the truth at the absolute level. At Vyavaharika level, that is empirical or transactional level, we know. Normally, normal people we do not know. But then a person who is a Vedanti, he knows that this is at a Vyavaharika level only. And then that Vyavaharika level, he goes about his transactions, he goes about with all his worldly transactions in a normal way, but in a detached way. What Vedanta or what this particular, all this exercise by Shankaracharya is to inculcate in us a feeling of Vairagya. Vairagya means not throwing away everything. Dispassion. You know the reality. You know the reality and evaluate it properly. Knowing the reality means to know that a pot is nothing but clay. To know that every ornament is nothing but gold. If you know that a pot is nothing but clay, a person who knows that a pot is nothing but clay, he need not break the pot. He need not break the pot. He need not destroy the ornaments. So he can still make use of the ornament. He can still make use of the pot. The only thing is he knows the value of the pot. If he goes and then if he wants to buy the pot, somebody tells some 10,000 rupees, he will not pay 10,000 rupees. He knows that it is made of clay only. So he will only pay some 10 rupees and not 10,000 rupees. So he will only know the reality about that part. So knowing the reality does not mean that you are disconnecting yourself from that. So reading Vedanta does not mean that thinking you need not think that your wife is a mithya, or vice versa, she should not think that you are a mithya. So this is one example given by Swamiji Akhandanandaji in one of his talks. So anyway, the purpose of this whole exercise, this whole passage is to inculcate that feeling of vairagya or dispassion, not rejection of everything. It is not rejection but dispassion. So this is what we have to keep in mind. If you know that it is a part is clay, you need not break the part. Similarly, once you know that this is unreal with reference to Brahman, you need not immediately get out of it and then you need not become a sannyasi, because you have to conduct yourself. There is what is called dharma in society, and then this dharma has to be enforced, this dharma has to be upheld. So this is what is say for everybody. Not everybody will become a sannyasi. That again, there is some restriction as to who can become a sannyasi, who cannot become a sannyasi. Jnani, of course, everybody can become. There is no restriction for becoming a jnani. Every fellow, any human being who is born, everybody is entitled to become a jnani. There is no bar for that. That is very many examples we see in our own books. For example, Dharma Vyadha in Mahabharata. Dharma Vyadha is a meat seller, a butcher by profession, a butcher by birth. So he is a jnani, he is a great jnani. So like that, there is no bar. Particularly if you read books like Suta Samhita, there is one book called Suta Samhita. That again is it is one portion from I think it is from Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana is a very big Purana with some 60,000 odd shlokas. So from that, a major chunk of it is called this Suta Samhita. So this Suta Samhita is so egalitarian in its nature. It is so say open, and then it is there. Basically, it talks about basically this Advaita Vedanta only, and then it gives us such a very egalitarian picture of what Vedanta is. Vedanta does not mean total rejection of everything. Vedanta does not mean all these social stratifications and all. Vedanta is there to include the society. Vedanta is there to tell everybody that every man, every living being is entitled for jnana. So all these things you come across in Suta Samhita in a very vocal and vehement way. So here, okay, avidya kama karma avyakta bija prabhava. Because of avidya, because you think that you are a limited entity, you engage yourself in a kama. There is a kama, means desire. Then that desire provokes you to do some karma. Kama leads to karma. Then this is avyakta bija prabhava. This is avyaktam is the seed. Avyakta, that maya, is the seed for all these things. Avyakta bija prabhava. From that seed it is born. Prabhava means which is born out of that. Then apara brahma vijnana kriya shakti dvayatmaka hiranyagarbhankuraha. So this hiranyagarbha is the sprout. Hiranyagarbha is the sprout. This is from here, this Rupakalankara starts. This metaphors start from here. Hiranyagarbha is the sprout of this whole thing. Hiranyagarbha, we know that he is the first being in that Maya, isn't it? Supreme Brahman, there is a manifestation called Maya, and in that Maya, the first Brahman, this first Jiva, what we call that, say Brahmaloka, etc., is that Hiranyagarbha Brahma. So that Hiranyagarbha Brahma is the sprout, and from that only this whole, say, universe has manifested. So that Hiranyagarbha is the Ankura. What type of Ankura is this? Apara Brahma, that is that Apara Brahma, that is that inferior, transactional level, empirical level Brahma. Apara Brahma, and he is characterized with the two Shaktis, that is Vijnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. There are three Shaktis which are talked about in Vedanta. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. In Lalita Sahasranama, if you have seen, there is a line called Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. So Ichha Shakti is that knowledge, that Ichha is desire, knowledge, that is not mentioned here because that is the characteristic of that Supreme Brahman. Ichha Shakti. So here there are Shakti Dvaya only are mentioned. Vijnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. That Jnana Shakti, that is the Jnana which is required for this manifestation of this world. And Kriya Shakti, that is the For all the function, for all the cosmic functions, there is all the cosmic functions are called kriyas only, isn't it? Kriya means action. All these cosmic functions, they are the kriyas. So these two Shakti, these two powers, let us say, are there in this Hiranyagarbha, or this Hiranyagarbha is characterized by these two things called Vijnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. And this Vijnana Shakti, this Hiranyagarbha is the Ankura. Ankura means he is the sprout. He is compared to that sprout. Not exactly compared, he says Hiranyagarbha itself is that Ankura. So in that tree metaphor, Hiranyagarbha is another small metaphor. So Hiranyagarbha Ankuraha. Then Sarva Prani Linga Bhedas, we have to read this. Sarva Prani Linga Bhedas Kanthaha.
Sarva Prani Linga Bhedas Kandaha.
Trishna Jalavasekodbhuta Darpaha.
Trishna
Jalavasekodbhuta
Jalavasekodbhuta
Darpaha. Buddhindriya Vishaya Pravalankuraha.
Buddhindriya Pravalankuraha.
Vishaya Pravalankuraha.
Buddhindriya Vishaya Pravalankuraha.
We'll stop. Sarva Prani Linga Bheda Skandhaha. Then what is this? What is the trunk of this tree? The trunk of this tree is your own Linga Sharira. Sarva Prani Linga Bheda Skandhaha. Prani Linga. Linga means Linga Sharira. This Linga Sharira is different. Sarva Prani Linga Sharira is different, isn't it? This Linga Sharira is the Skandha. This is the trunk for the samsara tree. So every man is a samsara here, every being is a samsara here. Like we say, every man is in his own world. So that is what it is. You are in your own world, I am in my own world. You are in your own samsara, I am in my own samsara. So that is what it is. Sarva Prani Linga Bheda Skandhaha. Skandha means the trunk of a tree. What is the trunk of a tree? The Linga Sharira of each individual human being. The Linga Sharira of each and every human being, not only human being, of every being. Sarva Prani, not only human being. Sarva Prani Linga Bheda Skanthaha. Is it clear?
Yes.
The Linga Sharira of every being is what is experiencing all these things. Who is the experiencer here? The experiencer is that Vijnanatma. Vijnanatma is that Antahkarana, the I. The I, that ego, is the experiencer of good, bad, ugly, everything in this life, isn't it? So this Linga Sharira, that Vijnanatma, is the experiencer. And Vijnanatma is the thing who carries this whole samsara. The whole samsara in his mind. All the relationships, all the friendliness, raga, dvesha, etc., etc., etc. Raga means desire. Or happiness, or say friendship, let us say, raga, attachment. When you say raga, a person is having raga, what does it mean? You are keeping your friends, relatives, parents, wife, etc., etc., all of them, they are not outside, they are in your mind. Dvesha similarly is all your enemies, your boss, all these people, if not, I may not be the boss, okay, all your enemies and all these people, they are, you have kept all of them in your mind. So your mind is fully crowded with so many things. Your mind is fully crowded with your friends, your enemies, and then your likes, your dislikes, so many other things. And some samskaras, all these samskara. Samskara is the latent tendencies or latent impressions, latent tendencies also you can say, which decide or which determine your future behavior. So all these samskaras, all these things constitute the mind, and that is what is samsara. So sarva prani linga bheda skandhaha. Then trishna jalavasekodbhuta darpaha. This darpa means pride, arrogance, pride and arrogance. Darpa is actually pride, arrogance, that ego, that sense of bloated ego, let us say. Bloated ego is the better expression. It describes the word darpa. Darpa means bloated ego. That is because of what? Ambition, that trishna jalavasekodbhuta. Trishna, ambition, is the water which is which is given to that tree, and then that tree grows. The water is actually needed for the growth of a tree. So this trishna, desire, is the water, and this tree is watered with that trishna. What is called trishna? The tree is watered with the trishna, and then that tree, that fully grown tree, is what is called darpa. Darpa is that arrogance, pride, bloated ego. That bloated ego is born out of this ambition. Trishna, Jala, Avaseka. Avasechanam means, say, pouring water. Giving water to a tree is called what is called Avasechanam. Avasechanam is giving water to a tree. Avasechana, Avaseka, Udbhuta. Udbhuta means born out of it. Trishna Jala Avaseko Udbhuta Darpaha. This Darpa or arrogance is born out of this ambition. Then Buddhi Indriya Shabdadi Pravala Ankuraha. Buddhi Indriya Shabda Vishaya Pravala Ankuraha. So this you have to also think of, when you think of a huge tree, you should also think of all these tender leaves and all that. What are these tender leaves? Pravala Ankuraha. Pravala means tender leaves. Pravala Ankuraha. What are all these tender leaves? Buddhi Indriya Vishaya. This Buddhi is there. Indriyas are there. These Indriyas are going out and then getting various sense impressions. Buddhi is there, which is sorting out all those impressions. So all these sense Vishaya. Vishaya means Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are the Vishayas. Whatever I see is the Vishaya for the eye. Whatever I taste is the Vishaya for my sense of taste. Whatever I smell is the Vishaya for my sense of smelling. So like that there are 5 types of Vishayas. So all these Vishayas are the Pravalas. Pravala means tender leaves. All the tender leaves of the tree are nothing but your own sensory expressions and sensory impressions, which are again sorted, which are again processed by your mind. All this thing is Pravala Ankuraha. Then let us read Shruti Smruti Nyaya Vidyopadesha Palashaha
Shruti Smruti Nyaya Vidyopadesha Palashaha
Yajna Dana Tapadyaneka Kriya Supushpaha
Yajna Dana Tapadyaneka Kriya
Supushpaha
Supushpaha
Sukha Dukkha Vedananeka Rasaha.
Sukha Dukkha Vedananeka Rasaha.
We will stop here. Then Shruti Smruti Nyaya Vidya Upadesha Palashaha. Then what are all these leaves? He is again taking the leaves. In the case of what are these things? Shruti. Shruti is one leaf. Smruti is another thing. Nyaya, Vidya, Upadesha. Vidya means education. We are not referring to Brahma Vidya here. We are referring to normal education. Nyaya means logic. Shruti, Smruti. Shruti and Smruti we know. Shruti is Veda. Smruti is whatever is followed from that Shruti is Smruti. Whatever is heard is Shruti. Whatever is recalled is Smruti. There is something which is heard by the Rishis. Heard means it is a sort of revelation for these Shrutis. They are the primary books, that is the Veda and the Upanishads. And then Smrutis are, then again Ramayana, Mahabharata, Itihasas, of course. The Smrutis are, all these our Puranas, etc. They are called the Smrutis. Smruti is something which is taken from the Veda, from the Vedic say philosophy itself, is remembered in these books, which is recalled in these books. Then Nyaya. Nyaya means logic. Nyaya, Vidya, Upadesha, Palasha. Upadesha means instruction. Vidya, Upadesha, learning and instruction. These are all the leaves. These are all the leaves. Then Yajna, Dana, Tapadyaneka Kriya Supushpaha. There are lot many good flowers also.
Palasha.
Palasha means leaf. Palasha. Upadesha Palasha. Yajna Dana Tapadyaneka Kriya Supushpaha. There are so many good flowers also. There are so many fragrant flowers in this tree. What are all those things? Yajna, Dana, Tapa. Why are they called Supushpa? Supushpa means very nice, good looking, fragrant flowers. And why? Because Yajna is one thing which is an activity where you are helping lot many people. Yajna is involving so many dhanams. So many dhanam means so many donations to so many people. Then in addition to Yajna, there is another what is called Dana. Without reference to Yajna is something which is intended for a particular deity. Without reference to that, you also do some Dana, which has nothing to do with this Yajna. Without reference to any deity, without any reference to any ritual, somebody comes to you and then you do some Dana. There again you are making the other man happy. Then Tapa. Tapas is another thing. Tapa is something which is your own internal reflection whereby you purify your mind. Tapas basically is the process of purifying your own mind. When your mind is purified, all your interaction will be purified, all your social interaction will be purified. So then the people also will be happy with you. If your interaction is really purified, then your people also will be people around you will be happy with you, because you are not brusque, you are not abrasive, you understand them, you are also more compassionate. Vedanta makes a person more compassionate. Vedanta, because some people very wrongly understand that, what is this Vedanta? You go and then you think that you are a Brahmagyani, and then you are not connected with this world at all. Instead of that, you do some service, you go and do some service. Even some ashrama people also, nowadays even this Ramakrishna ashram people also, they feel that reading Vedanta, they may take them away from the world. It is not so. Probably they have to again read the books of Vivekananda. They have to again read Upanishads. Because some of these younger Swamis whom we see, they feel like that. Vedanta is not supposed to take you away from the world. Vedanta will take you back to the world with more awareness, with a greater awareness, with a greater compassion. Vedanta is something which will enable you to come out of, as we were discussing yesterday, to pop out of your small delimited existence, and then you think that you identify yourself with the Brahman, and then you see all other beings in you, and you love all other beings as you love yourself. So it is a sort of compassion without any sort of precondition. It is not compassion. Compassion can be of two types. Compassion is like what these various people, they come, all these evangelists, they come and then they will try to show compassion, and then they will try to, they have got their own agenda. But this Vedanta does not have, this comparison is without an agenda. This compassion is without an agenda. This is pure love. This is Vedanta is enabling a man to realize that he is nothing but the Supreme Brahman. He has no love or hate to anybody. He has no agenda. And then he shows compassion just as he loves himself, he loves the other person. So that is what is the meaning of, Vedanta. So Vedanta does not make a man an escapist. You know escapism. Escapism is to running away from things. So Vedanta is not making a man an escapist. Vedanta is not making a man less compassionate and indifferent to people. With improper understanding of Vedanta may make a man aloof, take a man aloof and all that. So that is a different thing. A proper understanding of Vedanta makes a man more compassionate. So that is what is the thing. So similarly, Tapa is a preliminary step in that Vedanta. Tapas definitely is Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasva, that is what the Upanishad says. Through this tapas only, by purifying your mind and by deliberating on this Brahman, you know this Brahman. So that is what it says. So tapa is a process of purification of the mind, which again is a supushpa. There is something, the moment you go to your office, your fragrance is felt by your colleagues. Your fragrance means not all this X effect, but tapa effect. This tapas effect is felt by your colleagues. Because your attitude has changed, you have become more soft in your behavior, more understanding in your behavior. So this is something like a supushpa. Your tapas is a supushpa. Tapadyaneka aneka kriya supushpaha. All these things are kriya. You can note the word kriya also. All these words are kriyas. Then sukha dukkha vedana aneka rasaha. Then sukha, then aneka rasaha. Rasa means, here the word actually rasa is used in that original sense of, you must be knowing what is this, Natya Shastra of Bharata Muni. Bharata Muni Natya Shastra describes all these rasas, 8 rasas. Shungara, Veera, Karuna, Adbhuta, Hasya, Bhayanaka, etc. etc. Navarasa, of course, Shanta Rasa has been added later. Of course, Shanta Rasa has come later, but then originally he described 8 rasas. Anyway, 8 or 9, it doesn't matter. So all these things, this rasa, aneka rasaha, this love, hate, anger, disgust, then humor is one, hasya, then pity, compassion, horror, all these things, they are all your human emotions. So many human emotions, they are very systematically, they have classified all these human emotions into 9 categories, including Shanta rasa, as what you said. So Nava rasa, all these rasas, they have been described in our Natya Shastra, and in the Natya Shastra is the first, probably the first book on poetics. So all these things, all these rasas, Sukha, Dukkha, Vedana, Aneka. Sukha, Dukkha, Vedana. Vedana means Awareness. Vedana here does not mean pain. Vedana means with. With the root is, with means to know. Sukha, dukkha, vedana, aneka rasaha. Sukha is one thing. Dukkha, that is unhappiness, is another thing. Likewise, aneka rasaha. So all these, so many rasas, so many types of experiences, so many emotions are there in this mind. So we are all talking about this mind only. All this description of samsara is nothing but description of our own mind. What all goes on in our own mind. Then, pranyupajivya ananta phalaha.
Pranyupajivya ananta phalaha.
Tat trushna salilavaseka.
Tat trushna salilavaseka.
Prarudha jadikruta drudabadha mulaha.
Prarudha jadikruta drudabadha mulaha.
Satyanamadi saptaloka brahmadi bhuta pakshikruta nidaha.
Satyanamadi saptaloka brahmadi bhuta pakshikruta
nidaha. We'll stop here. Okay. Pranyupajivya ananta phalaha. So this tree is also useful. This tree is, don't dismiss it altogether. That is, this tree also is useful to several people. Ananta phalaha. It gives so many fruits. Ananta, endless fruits. For how? Pranyupajivya. Prani upajivya. Pranibhihi upajivyam. Upajivya means something which will enable other people to live. That is upajivya. Upajivya, that is the source of living. The source of living for upajivyam is something which is the source of living for others. Upajivya is a source of living for others. Pranyupajivyam is pranibhihi upajivyam. That is a source for various beings. This life or this human life or whatever it is, because you are talking about yajna, dana, tapa, etc. So many good fruits are there, so many good flowers are there. With all these things, you are also an upajivya. You are also helping so many people, and then you are giving sustenance. You are the source of living for so many other people. Pranyupajivya ananta phalaha. You have got lot many things, lot many resources with you. Let us say. Ananta phalam, so much of phalam, so many resources are there with you that you are able to help lot many people. So that is it. Then tat trushna salila vaseka prarudha jadikruta drudabadha molaha. Then again, this is trushna. Trushna salila avaseka. This avasechanam, we saw this word earlier also. Avasechanam means that is wetting a tree. Wetting means that pouring water to a tree. This image of giving water to a tree and then that tree growing, that is coming twice. So, Trushna Salila, Salila means water. Trushna is ambition, Salila is water. This water called ambition is put into that tree, and then that tree is becoming stronger and stronger because of the water, because you are watering it every day, you are giving it nourishment, you are giving it maybe manure. Manure he has not, Shankaracharya has not mentioned. Okay, you can presume manure also. You have put some water, manure and all those things, and then the tree is becoming stronger and stronger. Prarudha. Prarudha means well entrenched. It is getting more and more entrenched, because the more ambition signifies more ignorance only, isn't it? You want to achieve more and more and more. So that is what it is showing, your own ignorance. And the more ignorant you are, the more you are attached to the world, the more your roots are, you are rooted in the world. Let us say you are rooted in the world because of ignorance. If your ignorance becomes weak, your roots also become weak. So when ignorance is very strong, the roots also are very strong. So that is what we are seeing here. Trushna, that ambition. Ambition is something, is like a water or a nourishment for this tree, which is becoming prarudha jadikruta drudabadha molaha. Prarudha, well entrenched, jadikruta, becoming stronger and stronger, drudabadha molaha. This molam, these roots are becoming stronger and stronger. In fact, one commentator also says they are also avantara molaha. Avantara molaha means you see some big trees, you also get some aerial roots. If you see a banyan tree, you also get some aerial roots. So this aerial roots, something like one commentator has also mentioned that. So not only the original roots which are there are some more aerial roots also which are coming up. That means from all sides you are getting entrenched, more and more tied down, more and more tied down. You are spreading your activities. You are like what you say, you are you expand your business, you are also spreading your activity, you are spreading your relationships, and then you are becoming, you are networking, let us say, your network is becoming strong, wider and wider. So when your network becomes wider and wider, you are getting more and more tied. You are tied down in different places. You are having one network here, another network, you are part of so many Yahoo groups or Google groups. So all this thing is reflected here. You are getting tied down in so many things. So then Jadikruta Drudabadha Molaha. This Trishna, this ambition is making you to get more and more entrenched, more and more deeply rooted into this samsara. Then Satyanamadi. Okay, Satyanamadi Saptaloka Brahmadi Bhuta Pakshikruta Nidaha. Then we are talking about this Satyaloka and all these lokas. What are all these lokas? It is of course Saptaloka he mentions. Saptaloka we know. What are these Saptalokas? In this Bhurbhuvasvaha, this Gayatri mantra we recite every day. Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. So Satyaloka, Satya Namadi, Satya etc. The 7 lokas which are named, which are called Satya and so on. The 7 lokas which are called Satya and so on. So that is what it means. Satya Namadi, Saptaloka, Brahmadi Bhuta Pakshikruta Nidaha. This last thing, highest thing is that Satyaloka, isn't it? Satyaloka is supposed to be the loka of the Hiranyagarbha. So that is what he is referred to as the Brahma here. Satyaloka, the Saptaloka. Then Brahmadi Bhuta Pakshikruta Nidaha. Brahma, etc., etc. So for all these loka, there is, suppose you visualize some head. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha. For all these things, you visualize certain, say, heads of all these lokas. So all these heads of all these lokas, all these lokas are like nests, N-E-S-T, nest. Nest is bird's nest. So a bird's nest where all these people, the migrating birds, like all these migrating birds, these jivas, the Linga Sharira, it goes and then takes rest there. Linga Sharira goes to some Bhuvar Loka, Linga Sharira goes to some other Mahar Loka. So like that, Loka again, as we repeatedly have been saying, Loka is not some physical place, it is an experiential state. It is something which is a mind, it is an experience which you have in your own mind. So that is, these are all things like nests. And nests made by all these bhutas only. Satyanamadi, Saptaloka, Brahmadi, Bhuta Pakshi Kurta Nidaha. Brahmadi Bhuta. So Brahma also is referred to as a Bhuta. Bhuta means being. Brahma, the Hiranyagarbha Brahma, the creator as we call him, the creator also is a being. Being why? How? He is also composed of these 5 elements only. Akasha, Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayur, Akasha. So that is why when you give, say, when you, offer this prasadam to the deity, not prasadam, when you offer food to the deity, pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, you also say that. Just as you say, your own, all these prana vayus are there in you, in that Hiranyagarbha also all these prana vayus are there. So that is why you tell him pranaya swaha, vyana, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, etc. You also tell in the case of Hiranyagarbha. That means that Hiranyagarbha also is a jiva. He is called the Prathamo jiva. He is the first being. He is the first being. Hiranyagarbha is the Prathama jiva. So here you can see that Hiranyagarbha, Brahmadi, Bhuta, Pakshi Kruta Nidaha. Nida means nest. Nida is nest. Pakshi Kruta Nidaha. Is this line clear? All these things, all these lokas, they are like your, say, various, say, places of halt. Various places of halt for all the pilgrims. So let us say. So these are all experiential states which you graduate one by one, and then you are in that Brahmaloka. That is Apunaravartino Arjuna, as we see in Gita. That is the loka from where there is no Punaravarti, whereas all other lokas they have got Punaravarti. So that is what we saw in Gita. Then Prani Sukha Dukkhodbhuta, Harsha Shokajata Nrutya Gita, Vaditra Shvelita,
Shvelita,
Spotita Hasita,
Spotita Hasita,
Akrushta Rudita,
Akrushta Rudita,
Haha Muncha Munchetyadi,
Haha Muncha Munchetyadi,
Aneka Shabdakruta,
Aneka Shabdakruta,
Tumuli Bhuta Maharavaha.
Tumuli Bhuta Maharavaha.
Up to this point is one long phrase. So in Sanskrit, certain long phrases will be there. Very long phrase. This is the whole thing is a samasa. The whole thing is one word only. Prani sukha dukkhodbhuta harsha shoka jata nrutya gita vaditra shvelita spotita hasita krushta rudita haha muncha munchadyaneka shabdakruta tumuli bhuta maharavaha. This whole thing is one word. So technically speaking, the whole thing is a word, because all those words are fused into one another. All these words are fused. This is called a samasa. Samasa means bringing together so many words is called into one word is called a samasa. And this one word behaves like any other small word. Ramaha Ramo Ramaha, that Ramena Ramabhyam Ramaihi, how that word behaves. So this big word also behaves in the same way. It is declined in the same way. So that is the beauty. So here, what is it? Here again we are seeing all types of the tumultuous noise of the world is described here. All this tumult, noise, all this thing is described. That is Prani Sukha Dukkhodbhuta Harsha Shoka Jata Nrutya Gita Vaditra Shvelita. So sometimes you are happy, sometimes you are unhappy. And when you are happy, you make some noise. When you are unhappy, you also make some noise. Then when you are happy, you go to some say bar and then you also dance there. And then when you are unhappy, you are crying in some other place. So all these things, prani sukha dukkha udbhuta. Udbhuta means that which is born out of prani sukha dukkha. When he is happy, he is making one cry. When unhappy, he is making another cry. Sukha dukkha udbhuta means all these sounds which are originating either from sukha or from dukkha. Then what type of sounds are there? Harsha shoka jata. And again this is born out of harsha and shoka. Harsha, when you are happy, you make a sound. Shoka, when you are sorrowful, you are making another sound. What are these things? Jata. Nrutya gita vaditra. Nrutya Gita. Nrutya means dance. Gita means song. That is what our hero and heroine they do with the films. When they are happy, they just the first thing they do is Nrutya and Gita. Probably. So they have taken from a lesson from Kathopanishad. We do not know. Harsha Shoka Jata. Nrutya Gita. Then Vaditra. Vaditra means all these musical instruments. Vaditra is musical instruments. Then Shvelita. Shvelita is one type of sword, one type of say play. One type of play means not a drama, one type of sport, one type of sportive activity. Shvelita. Aspotita. Aspotita is bhuja aspotanam. Aspotanam means you just do like this and then you challenge the other fellow. So this sort of sound. Maybe in olden days probably they used to do more, we do not know. Aspotita. Nowadays we don't find say doing this aspotanam and then challenging the other people. But if you see old movies also, you see these wrestlers, they do this thing and then they challenge it. So that aspotanam is that. In fact, in Sundarakanda, that you find a beautiful description of Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, doing this aspotanam and things like that. So here, Nrutya Gita Vaditra Shvelita Aspotita Hasita Krushta. Okay. Nrutya, I told you, Nrutya means dance, Gita is song, cinemas you can imagine. Then Vaditra is instrument. Then Shvelita. Shvelita means that is a type of sport. Then Aspotita. This is gesturing and then this is tapping on your shoulder and then challenging the other fellow. So that is that Aspotita. Then Hasita Akrushta. Hasita means all this laughter. Then laughter again, our people have classified into 6 types. In fact, if you read our old books, they have classified almost everything. They have classified what you call laughter. It is of 6 types. Mandam, some mandahasa is one thing. Attahasa is another thing. Then Ishat Kinchit Lakshadvijam to Hasitam Syat. Hasita is when some little bit of your teeth are seen. That is what is called Hasitam. When your teeth are not seen, when you are simply smiling without opening your mouth, that is Mandasmitam. So like that they have classified that also. So there is so much of say fun in reading those books also. So anyway, Hasita, then Akrushta, somebody is dragging someone. Somebody Akrushta means somebody is dragging someone. Then when somebody is dragging, that person is crying. Maybe this is a case of a woman, a helpless woman being dragged here and there. So Rudita, ha ha, muncha muncha, dhyaneka shabda kurta. Ha ha, oh, ha ha means oh, muncha muncha, leave me, leave me. Obviously referring to some woman who is being dragged. Say muncha muncha. Muncha muncha means you leave me, leave me, leave me. Ityadi, aneka shabda kruta. Tumuli bhuta maharavaha. Tumuli bhuta. Tumuli bhuta means that is becoming intensified. Tumuli bhuta maharavaha. Rava means sound. Maharava. The huge sounds. All these sounds, they are getting intensified. You see somewhere somebody is laughing, somebody is crying, somebody is dancing, somebody is playing some musical instrument, somebody is challenging somebody, somebody is crying, somebody is dragging someone. All these things, they are there in this. These are all there which we experience in our mind. So you see this wonderful line, Prani Sukadukhodbhuta Harsha Shokajata Nrutya Gita Vaditra Chvelita Spotita Hasita Akrushta Rudita Haha Muncha Muncha Dhyaneka Shabdakurta Tumuli Bhuta Maharavaha. You see what a wonderful line, Tumuli Bhuta Maharavaha. So this is all this Tumuli Bhuta Maharava, that is the intense sound of all these things, all these, so many things which are happening in the world, so many things which are happening in your own experience, not outside. Outside world is whatever is the projection of your own, is happening in your own mind. All these things which are experienced by you, that is what is samsara. The time over? Okay, then we'll stop it here. Maharavaha. Then, okay, then we'll go to the next samasa. All these are different samasas. Samasa is expressions combining lot many words. So this we have stopped at this Maharava, this samasa we have stopped at the all types of worldly, say tumultuous noise. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.